Hey, what's going on, guys? I got a special guest here today. It's me, Jordan Edwards, and we're doing a solo episode today. We're going to be talking about a couple different topics. One is going to be presence, and another is we're going to talk about overcoming our fears, fear of rejection, fear of failure. So let's dive into presence. Why presence? Because I had a meeting with my coach recently, and we discussed about what was the most important tool he's helped people with over the past 30 years of coaching people, and what was that tool and how did that work. And he brought up that presence was. So it really got me thinking, what is presence? How do we think about presence? How often do we apply presence? And how often are we struggling and we're just never present? And for me, as I did this reflection, I realized I struggle with this. This is something that I am not that good at and that I'm looking to improve upon, because every day we have so many variables in our lives. We have phone calls, we have text, we have Instagram messages, we have Netflix notifications, we have so many variables. And then on top of that, we have to work, we have to have these other meetings, and we're talking to these other people. So it is constantly bombarding. It's how do you build that presence? How do you get to that ability of presence? So the thing I've been focusing on is not when am I present, when am I not present? That's definitely part of it, but it's what does that look like? Because as I dive into presence, I realize it's leaving the phone, it's being in the podcast, it's being helping people, it's having a giving mindset. As I think about what really allows me to have presence, it's when I went scuba diving, you're under the water, that you have to focus on your breathing or you're not going to make it. You're 60 feet underneath, you're looking at the fish, you're examining everything. And I thought to myself, and I go, why am I happy there? It's because of the presence. Why am I happy when I'm running a marathon? It's bizarre. It's crazy. It makes no sense. It's because of the presence. It's because I'm seeing different things. It's because I'm looking around. I'm being observational. I'm looking to create something. Why is it that when I'm in the podcast, I'm happiest? And it's because I'm there with the individual. It's there. I'm with the audience. I'm here with you guys now. It's because there's no other variables. It's just me and that person. And it's deep and it's cool. Why is it the coaching group? Because it's just me there being deep. So many times each day we're in meetings where we're constantly multitasking. We might be eating, drinking, texting each other people. We're too busy. We have so much other stuff going on. So it's how do we create that presence for ourselves? How do we create that every single day? And these are some of the habits that worked for me. It's first of all asking yourself, what is presence? Why might we need presence? And how often are we working on that? Is it a top of mind activity? Because I realize it a lot of the time we're stuck in the past, we're obsessed about the future. And those are both exciting things, but they will never occur. The past will never come back, and the future will never happen. Because here's the thing, the presence is all we have. So I started to think about it. We would go out to dinner, and I realized that being present is a present. It's an amazing gift that we give to ourselves each and every day. And we take this for granted because we live in an age where everyone's on their cell phones, everyone's got another thing, everyone can't hold attention for more than 10 seconds. So it's how do we get through to that? How do we overcome that? And how do we make this into a better place and a better environment? Presence is being there in that moment with everything else going on, the honking, the cars, the people in the background. It's being there in that moment, being with those people, being in that activity. And that's what I look to do. That's what I try to create. So as I go through this and as I ask myself these questions, I ask you to ask yourself these questions. How often are you present with your children? How often are you present when you're with your friends? How often are you present when you're working out? Are you always trying to be an efficiency expert? Are you always taking notes during meetings? Or are you there present? Are you really taking it in and getting as deep as possible? Because that's what I'm looking for. It's how do we build the depths of those relationships? How do we go deeper? How do we create more? It's being present. It's being present with those people and following through and obviously doing a lot of the challenges that we need to. So let's find that presence each and every day in yourself. And what are some of those activities that create that presence? What are some of those things that create that presence? So for me, it's been when I go to the dinner table, no phone, because it allows me to get more present than I was before. It allows me to dive in more and go deeper. It's challenging myself each and every day to do these activities that I might not want to do or might be challenging to me because I know that I'll be a better person for doing them. Like, for example, in this week, I had someone cancel the podcast on Friday. So now it's Sunday. I need to record a podcast to put one out this week, and I need to get present during this activity. I need to be present. I need to be with you guys, be in gratitude and be in that giving mindset because otherwise, this isn't going to work. It's not going to work if you don't try to help people. It's not going to work if there's no value being given. So I'm taking 20 minutes today, 25 minutes today to go and help you to see what kind of value I can provide through my learnings, through what's been taught to me. So I'd recommend asking yourself, how present are you really with your kids in those times of going on vacation? How present are you really? How present are you really when you're talking to your secretary? How present are you really when you're talking to your clients? Are you really there with them? Do they feel that you're with them? Because if they don't, maybe this is something we can work on. Because in our society, this is going to be harder and harder and harder, especially with the new technology, the VR, the phones. Everyone's constantly on the computer. We're not with each other. We're not really present. So take a moment and focus on that presence and really see what that can be for you. Now, the second topic I wanted to touch on is because it's the more people I'm talking to, the more I'm seeing it as a bigger and bigger issue in society is fear of rejection and fear of failure. These are two things that are the biggest fears in the world. So two fears that encompass all fears: fear of rejection and fear of failure. Fear of rejection is when you're too scared or too concerned about the other people's opinions to even go out and try, go out and give that effort. Fear of failure is failing, is being too embarrassed that you're going to fail. It's being insecure, it's being scared. Because the truth is, as we talked about this over and over and over again, it's the reps that we take. So if you're doing your first podcast, you cannot compare it to someone who's done 1,000 podcasts. They've gotten 1,000 more reps than you. They've gotten 1,000 more preps. They've gotten 1,000 more experiences trying this. And then on top of that, all the experiences they've tried that they didn't post, that they never did. There's probably another 50 in there that they wasn't up to their standard. So this tends to happen all of the time. Everybody is failing every single day. But the thing that keeps me going on to do new activities and new endeavors is realizing that failure is part of the process. We can't be afraid of it. We have to embrace it. We have to look forward to it. And I even know some people who at the dinner table with their kids will say, "Where'd you fail today?" Because it inspires a culture of failing fast and learning from that. Fail and learn, not just fail and learn so you can improve. It's something that we constantly need to work on. And with the fear of rejection, that's just not talking to enough people. As we talk to more and more and more people, then that rejection will go away. So I challenge you guys, next time you go to Starbucks or next time you go out, why don't you talk to three people at Wawa? Or why don't you try to say hi to three different individuals and see what happens? As I go on my runs each day, I do this thing where I wave at people because it gets me over that fear of rejection and that fear of failure. I wave at people and it's It's hilarious. I'll run 4 miles, probably 40 minutes. I'll wave at, I don't know, 25, 30 people. I'll probably get 5 or 10 wave backs. Is some of that in my control? Yes. Is that some that people aren't present? Yes. Is that there's a lot of different variables there. So it's something that can be worked on, but it's an easy activity for me to do to get myself out of that comfort zone, to get myself uncomfortable. Because as we realize, facing fear of rejection, fear of failure, presence, they're all uncomfortable. They're all not our default comfort. Default comfort is being, let me sit on the couch and not talk to anybody. For some people it's being out there and speaking to everyone. But I know for a fact it is speaking to more individuals. When you speak to more people, you will get overcome this. We always have this fear of not knowing individuals or not knowing or being scared of judgment. But like in the reality of things, fear of failure and fear of rejection, think about it. You didn't have the deal beforehand. If the deal falls through, you're in the same exact place. And that's how I like to think about things because as I hear no, 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 it makes me realize that I'm closer to yes. Because in reality, every 9 no's, there's 1 yes. So once you realize the formula, you realize that you're getting closer to failure, and failure is not something that you push away, but you actually embrace because you know it's part of the process and it's something that you can look forward to. Because as you get more no's, the yes is coming on the other side, and that's an exciting thing. That's a good thing. So that's part of the process. The process is not to be afraid of it, not to fear it, but to embrace it and turn it into your friend. So I know people who were looking at talking to girls and they were scared of talking to girls, they're scared of talking to guys. I go, talk to 5 guys every single time you go out, or talk to 5 girls every time you go out. You're going to get rejection after rejection after rejection. But like I was talking about, the more reps we get, the more opportunity you're putting yourself out there, and the more opportunity. And this applies to everything from running to working out to business deals to business contacts to new jobs to everything, everything in life, golfing, swimming, anything, video games, podcasts. This is everything. Everything is the amount of reps you do. So you cannot judge yourself for the first 100 reps. I wouldn't. Playing pickup basketball, cool. I never played basketball in my life. How am I going to be as good? And the best example I have of this is I was talking to my girlfriend's younger brother, and he was playing baseball, and he really wanted to get good at baseball. And I thought, wow, that's awesome. How many times do you swing the bat at practice? He goes, 5 times. How many times do you swing the bat during the game? He goes, 0 times. I want to get walked. How many times do you have practice a week? 2 times. I have practice twice a week and I bat 5 times. So if we're doing the math, we're at a total of 10 bats a week. I go, if you practice by yourself for 1 hour, you will get 100 swings in, which is equivalent to 10 weeks of batting. So if you think about that, how many areas in your life are you only doing 5 bats a week or 10 bats a week when you can do 100 bats in 1 hour? And that's what I like to talk about as zone action. That's this idea of being in the zone and doing the activity that's going to yield you the best result. Because when we're in that action place, you don't, I'm not saying bat 100 times every single day. I'm saying do it intentionally. I'm saying cold call the people intentionally. Apply to 100 jobs. Do it intentionally. Whatever you're going to do, don't half-ass it. Because as we've talked about, people are not giving the amount of effort they need to yield the results that they want to. So when you're present with people, you overcome that fear of rejection, that fear of failure. And it's all of this is going to be uncomfortable. But I challenge you this week to get uncomfortable with that. Challenge yourself. See what you can accomplish through this adversity because it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be comfortable. You should pick one of these 3 things that I mentioned and go after it. Like with presents, sit there at a dinner table or your breakfast, no phone, even if it's just you. Hang out with yourself, hang out with your family, hang out with people, actually talk to them, get deep with them, and make them realize that you're really listening and you care about them. The presence will come over and it will help you overcome that fear of rejection, fear of failure. Because in reality, we are all failures. We are all failures. The people who have made it and the people who have accomplished what you want to accomplish just failed a lot more. And they're willing to embrace failure and they love failure. And failure is good. This podcast, I am trying something new here. This might be a failure, but it's a learning experience and it's a wrap. So you can't hate on that. You can't not appreciate someone trying. So I challenge you today, go out there and try what you want to do. Try what you need to do, what's been calling you. We all have a ton of time on our plate. And why don't we take a little bit of that? Take it away from Netflix, take it away from reading the book, take it away from our distractions, get really present with ourselves and figure out what it is we want to do. Whatever that is, because life is too short not to try. So give it an effort, give it a try. If you need help figuring that out, you can reach out to me at my email, jordan@edwards.consulting. Reach out. I want to help you with presence, overcoming fear of failure, fear of rejection. And if you guys got any value out of this, please let me know. I appreciate this. I appreciate you. And I want you guys to keep clocking in and let's make the most of this experience that we call life today because it's not promised, it's not guaranteed. So we might as well go out there and we'll do what will make us happy because there's too many of us living lives of quiet desperation, living lives that we realize that we think are the safe route, but could end very quickly. And then we're filled with a lot of regret. And I don't want you to have that. So this is the wake up call. This is the call. Ring, 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 ring. This is the call. I want you to wake up and realize that you have to live your life to the fullest. You have to go at least try, give an effort, give something. So keep clocking in. I'm Jordan Edwards. Reach out to me on Instagram. I'd love to hear from you. I love hearing your stories. Keep it up. And I hope you all have a blessed and grateful week.